You probably don't know it, but I work as a video game journalist, and I couldn't resist reviewing a game from the world of My Little Pony. The game's plot takes place shortly after the events of A New Generation and the 45-minute Make Your Mark special. Knowledge of these two is not mandatory to start the game. Even a person who doesn't know much about the pony's world will understand everything here without a problem. However, with the knowledge of the MLP brand, it is much easier to catch a few small Easter eggs. In the game we play as Sunny, and it's hard for me to say anything about the story here because it's practically non-existent. We know that there's a pony festival going on and that's it. We just go ahead, meet ponies in need and do repetitive missions. There is an evil plot in the background which culminates at the very end of the game. But to be honest, it is not interesting at all.
Some pony is out there trying to ruin the event. We must find him. Or her.
Or her?
No pony can be left unsuspected.
I completed the entire game in just 2 hours and 40 minutes. I wasn't hoping for anything long, but this is an outrageously short game. Practically all the tasks we get are courier missions. To move the story forward, we must go to someone to get something and then return it to the starting point. In the course of the story, we also have small breaks in the form of minigames. As I've already mentioned, I finished the whole game in less than 3 hours. Although the plot is practically non-existent, you can see the potential and the well-made elements in the rest.
Well, sure. And you can just call me Hitch.
Okay. Hitch?
Let the level design be an example here. The town of Maretime Bay was nicely recreated and the out-of-time areas are a joy to look at. The platforming elements are well done, the same goes for the way our pony moves. Despite all this, the entire map is small. There's not much you can do on it after completing the main storyline. Once we collect all the crystals and unlock all the pieces of clothing, the game stops offering anything. At most, we can start one of the minigames, which are also available from the main menu. In the game we can also customize our Sunny. We can choose from 4 categories: hats, glasses, necklaces and scarves, backpacks and more. Each contains 8 elements which we unlock along with the development of the story or after collecting enough crystals. Editing the appearance of our pony is very limited, but it's entertaining. There are 5 mini-games to choose from, which you can play alone or in the company of another player. Each such short game is unlocked during the story. The same goes for ponies, of which we have 6 to choose from. The task of the first game is to chase the bunnies like a shepherd dog. Within a specific time we must pass as many levels as possible. It's pretty simple, but I have to admit it took me many tries to reach the third and maximum crown. The second minigame is almost identical, the only difference is that we also have a second passage designed for crabs in addition to the rabbits in the level. The third game is a rhythm game in which we have to click the buttons at the right time. Unfortunately we don't have a choice of songs and we must settle for just one, which, yes, you guessed it, quickly becomes boring. Next we have a simple game where we fly one of the 3 Pegasi, collect hoops and avoid balloons. We move with the arrows on 3 tracks, left, middle and the right. The last minigame is a run with obstacles. From time to time, boxes and bunnies appear on the track, which we have to jump over. So, as you can see, the game is easy, small and short. However, it is worth remembering that this is a game aimed primarily at children who are probably just beginning their adventure with video games. Simple minigames are an excellent way to spend a few minutes with your child. What's more, the game itself is cheap. When game prices are up to $70 at launch, $30–40 are nothing, especially since I feel that there will be significant discounts sooner or later. Unfortunately, technically there are a lot of flaws here. I have no idea how big the studio's budget for the production is, but it's certainly small. But let's start with the positives, because there are some. First, I must praise the developers for the optimization. I play my game on the Nintendo Switch console, and even before the release I was afraid of the frame rate. Fortunately, I had 30 frames per second practically all the time. It's also worth saying a bit about the body animation and the facial expressions. as these are possibly better than in the recently released Make Your Mark. In opposition to the overall animation, a character's voice is purely synchronized with their mouth movement.
Pip, what's wrong?
I don't think anything has bothered me as much in this game like this. It looks as if the mouth movements were created for the one dubbing, but the creators decided to put entirely new voices after a while. The English dubbing is, well, it is not the highest quality dubbing.
They shouldn't be far. Could you help me find them?
I'm on it.
There is one more aspect left to discuss, the visual aspect. In terms of graphic, the game is uneven. Almost everything is beautiful and fabulous, but on the other hand, sometimes it looks like from PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 era. Don't get me wrong, you can see many budget cuts on the technical side and the content is poor. However, everything works very well and smoothly. In my opinion, the developers have thought everything through and wisely allocated funds for the most important aspects of the production. In the end, I had a great time. It was nice to explore Maretime Bay as Sunny. I only regret that the game ended so quickly.